installment of 1 Million Cups. I'm Aaron Spencer with Arctic Refrigeration and more recently Kentucky Restaurant Supply. We've got David Griffin from IBAC today. He'll be presenting information on his business, and in the coming weeks I'll be presenting on our business and what we do. Briefly, we're a refrigeration company and restaurant supply store. So, no further ado, I'll turn over to David, let him take it. So, thanks.
Appreciate that. I'm going to talk fast, but Ruth Ann's got me on the strict deadline, she said this morning. So, just real quick, a little bit about us. My name is David Griffin. I am the owner of IBAC, and a lot of people wonder what we do. Well, we're 3 years old, and I would say we're still figuring out sometimes what we do. But we do have some core competencies about our business, and I thought it'd be easier to kind of show what we do because it is a complicated technology-based and driven industry that we're in, which is one of our core competencies, mainly building automation. How many people are familiar with that, what building automation means? That's why some of you are, maybe 20% at best. So a few things real quick that we do. IBAC stands for Integrated Buildings and Climates, and as part of that, what we do for facilities and customers is we take what makes up the climate. And there's several things, is what this presentation shows, what makes up the climate. You've got your indoor comfort, which would be temperature, humidity, things like that. Indoor air quality, carbon monoxide, carbon dioxide levels, security, access control, motion detection, machine-to-machine integration. In manufacturing environments, we make their input and output PLCs communicate with their building. And then energy management, this is a big one. To echo Scott from last week a little bit, we are in the energy business and controlling the usage, demand limiting, trending your usage of your utilities, and then lighting. These are all things that make up the climate of the building. And so what we do, and I don't want to spend a lot of time on our business and what we do necessarily today, making a sales pitch, talk more about running a business in Hopkins County is what I want to focus on. But we take all those things basically that make up the climate of a hospital, school, manufacturing facility, institutional building. We pretty much cram it all in this little box that is a mini computer, free programmable mini computer using sensors, inputs, outputs, different widgets to control all these things like the HVAC and the lighting, and to help save energy. And either save energy or make a more comfortable environment is the goal of our business, hopefully to make those things mesh. At the same time, we're also a service provider for HVAC systems on the commercial level, and that's what IBAC does in a nutshell. So now to get away from that, and just a quick example, I thought I'd throw up here to show you guys what we're talking about. This is a live shot of the Berry Plastics is over here on the interstate. This is their chilled water plant and cooling tower plant plus some air compressors that are running live. This is live information running in their facility right now. When they came in, they had to expand this system right away. We took care of the chillers and all the automation of this system by using one of these computers. It's called a Niagara or a Jace panel. We put that in, did all the programming, set up, monitoring, and we also do all the service for Berry Plastics when it comes to these systems over in their plant. So it's tough for us, and that's, from there I want to transition into a little bit about being a business owner and entrepreneurship, which I feel like is what this community, the benefit that we bring, or that this can bring to everybody in here, because just like Scott is, it's tough sometimes to figure out your, what I call elevator speech, or your 30-second speech about when somebody says, what do you do? It's sometimes hard to put that in an
incredibly hard.
It's really, and you wouldn't think it'd be that hard. For some people, some industries, it's not, Some people say, I own a restaurant, and, it's a little bit more cut and dry. For some people that are more on the technology, leading edge type of things, it can be tough to encapsulate that. And to be honest with you, that's one of the challenges that we've had. We're learning exactly what we are and what we do as we go, and it's changing and evolving. Ruth Ann brought up this morning, was it last year, or a little over a year ago, a year and a half ago, something like that. I did a presentation for her on using social media, Facebook, things like that, to market your business. We don't do that anymore. And people like, Ruth Ann's like, yeah, you don't seem to be keeping up with that and doing that. That's because our market has shifted, and really the people that we call on and market to now, that's not where they go to find our services, That's why I was interested in how Scott was doing that. Really interested in what he talked about last week when it comes to using YouTube to get the message out there. And we're going to definitely do that, put some videos together, try to condense down what it is we do and how we can benefit your facility or bring services to your industry. So that's some of the things. I drew a couple pictures up here. Talk about being an owner of a business in Hopkins County. My experience has been, it's all about, is my time up already? Where's she at?
20 seconds.
You're kidding me. That was 6 minutes. Anyway, it's all about money, talent, and market is what we've been trying to figure out. We're 3 years old. We're still trying to get our head around this stuff. If money was an issue, if you let that be an obstacle, then like we were talking this morning, probably should have started in the first place. If that's what defines you, you got to be all in. You got to be willing to live in a trailer, whatever it is, whatever it takes. You got to be all in. And financially, there is a way always to get it done. Our biggest obstacle is talent. And in this community right now, that is, to me, trying to be an entrepreneur, grow a business like ours, talent, and then understanding your market, being flexible and willing to adapt. And like I said, we were in the residential business for a long time. We've completely dropped that, abandoned it, back to the social media. We're not in social media because we don't do residential. When we were doing it, that worked for us. So anyway, that's a little bit about our business, what we do, where I came from. And now I guess it's time for questions. Is that what we do from here? So go ahead, anybody have any questions about this? Like I said, we're in the early stages of a business development. Talked this morning, everybody told me when I started business it'd take 5 years to really get up and going. Of course, I'm a lot smarter than everybody else, right? It's not gonna take me 5 years. It's gonna take 5 years. So we're in year 3, so we're still getting there.
What's the biggest thing you've learned so far?
That not to, just because you're good at what you do, like I said, we're really good at this. Taking little boxes, inputs, outputs, doing crazy things with them. I can control your building off the lunar phases of the moon if you want to. But that doesn't necessarily translate to being good at being a business owner. This is a whole nother skill set and learning curve that kind of humbled me about when I jumped in here. Because I thought just because I was really good at this, I would be really good at that. And that's not necessarily the case. I'm still trying to figure out how to be good at this to this day, So so far that's been the biggest learning experience, and not to overestimate the market. I think I overestimated the opportunities a little bit, and it didn't happen immediately in Hopkins County. So what I had to do was cast a much wider net right off the bat. And most of our business is actually not in Hopkins County. If it wasn't for Berry Plastics, I wouldn't have a whole lot of business in our community. But mainly I work in Bowling Green, Owensboro, Clarksville, Evansville. Those areas right now is where most of our market is existing. And we're looking to grow that even further.
David, one comment and then a quick question. What I'm hearing you say from your shift on valuing social media as you shifted the focus of your business, and then what you just indicated, being flexible. Being flexible is pretty important for an entrepreneur. Question is, going forward, what do you see as your biggest challenge? Will it be raising capital, or is it primarily focused on talent?
I thought it was going to be raising capital. I thought money was going to be a big issue in the beginning. If you let it, money will keep you from succeeding, and it'll just shut you down. if you obsess over how much money you got, where you're going to get it from, you figure out there's strategies and ways to work around that. Like Scott said last week, we do the exact same thing he does. He asked how we do it. I did get some help from Steve Cox, Hancock Bank. He's been a great partner for us. I highly recommend finding two things right up front: a good banking relationship and a good accounting relationship. Because we were doing the accounting on our own at first, and we made a mess out of that, had to get that straightened back out. But we asked for 50% down, because these are projects can range anywhere from 5 digits, 6 digits, 7 digits. Well, it's hard to float, $1 million project with all the parts and pieces on your own dime when you're a startup or a small business. So we asked for the money down 50% to secure materials and maybe to get a little bit of get going money, and then we try to make do our labor and our margins on the backside of that. So I thought that was going to get back to your question. I thought that was going to be the biggest obstacle, but we've learned how to deal with that. The biggest one is finding the talent. I had a vision of starting a business here in Hopkins County, Madisonville, not just starting, my goal wasn't necessarily start a business, get rich, go away, live on a houseboat. Maybe I'll do that one day, but really I wanted to start a business here in Hopkins County to help grow our community, bring good quality jobs to Hopkins County. And I kind of went into it thinking that there would be people, if I put out my shingle, so to say, that people would come running because there were jobs available. Not the case. There's a lot of competition for talent, especially with the coal industry being in our area. They suck up a lot of the talent. And the type of talent that we need, engineering type of talent, people that got something going on but are still willing to work with their hands. It's hard to find those people, period, and then find them around here when they've been gobbled up by these, they come right out of high school making $20-some an hour, whatever it is. It's hard to compete with that. So that's been a real obstacle. I think I'm encouraged by some changes that we're making in the community and some things that are going on out in the community college. They've shifted their technology program from being coal-based and everything to really it's automation-based. We went out to the tour of it, and that was very, hopefully that'll help produce some candidates for businesses like ours that are more technology-driven.
And I appreciated what you said about the relationship with the banker and the accountant. A lawyer's also good, but
Yeah.
but anyway, what I wanted to ask you, what did you find when you were looking for an accountant to help you? Because there are a lot of accountants in town, and they're really good at what they do, but most of them are not really business accountants.
We went
To
through.
help you really.
I'll tell you what. We started off. We did business. How do I put this? We started off with just engaging somebody that was recommended, very small. Found that we quickly outgrew them, and they were not business oriented like you're talking about. And we struggled with that. We stuck with it for a year or so, and said this just isn't going to work out as we grow, start dealing with bigger and bigger dollars. So we went through it. We decided to go through a sort of a vetting process. We wrote down what's our criteria, what do we need, what are we looking for. We're a totally cloud-based business. We use Google Apps for business, Google Docs. Everything is online. All of our storage is online. We don't have servers sitting around. And we also use QuickBooks online for our accounting. So we were looking for somebody that was technology savvy. It was number one. That when we told them just here's our QuickBooks address, here's our login information, they wouldn't go, what are you talking about? So that was a big thing we were looking for. And we had a few other things that were probably specific to what we do. And we wrote those down, and we went through, we looked around the area. We looked at Madisonville, Hoptown, and Owensboro, and Evansville, and Clarksville. And we contacted some firms in those areas, and we're little fish in a big pond sometimes around here. Since the Evansville and Clarksville people didn't even bother to contact us back. We had 4 candidates from Hoptown, Madisonville, and Owensboro. So we went and interviewed, sat down with them, went through a little bit of a vetting process, found out what their approach would be to our business and our needs. and then made a selection based on their responses. And we wound up with, I'll tell you right now, we work with Barry and Kington here in town. They were right there with the people in Hopkinsville and Owensboro as far as capabilities and their offering. And at the end of the day, we said, well, with everything else being even, they're right here around the corner. We can pick up. Another thing is customer service was really good with them. That's been our experience. And so far, they've done a great job for us, and we've been happy with it. So.
Well, I find that oftentimes when you go into business, you don't really know what you need, and the accounting firm that you choose can certainly help to guide you to greater success because,
Yeah.
but they have to know your business,
Mm-hmm.
and so anyway.
Yeah, and they're like, I look at them as a tool. You got to be careful because we are, everybody here for the most part is entrepreneur or business owner, so you've got some level of risk taker mentality inside of you. You got to be careful not to listen completely to what they tell you and abandon your risk taker mentality, because that's why you are where you are. Because accountants are notoriously conservative. They may look at your books and tell you, you need to get out of this right now. This is not working for you. Well, if you take that advice, then where would you be? I'd have been shut down the first 6 months. So, go ahead.
On your business development side, are you finding that you're bumping into, is your biggest challenge competitors, or is it market education? You're going into building operators and kind of painting the picture of what they can't do.
I think that from that perspective, the competition is not really. I know the competition very well. I know because I was part of the competition. That's how a lot of us spin out of that, And so I kind of know the strategies there, but the market level of acceptance of a new business in our business is something that you do have to overcome, and it has been a challenge. First of all, just getting the word out there that you exist. That takes a lot of time and effort. Going around and seeing engineers. When you go, you don't just walk up to the front door of Carhartt or Berry Plastics or these places and say, hey, I'm David Griffey and I'm here, why don't you use me? It's not the same, it's not that type of mentality. You have to do a lot of networking, a lot of figuring out who's who, and sometimes they're just not receptive at all. So that has been a little bit, and we don't have, when you're a Train or a large Honeywell or Johnson, there's a lot of resources, both financial, networking. Johnson Controls, Train, and Honeywell, they have lobbyists in Washington, D.C. They have lobbyists in Frankfurt that are actually setting policy to benefit their products and solutions. So you do have to overcome that. But we don't have buckets of money to go out and do that. So a lot of it is peer-to-peer networking to get in the door of places. And then once you get in, a little afraid that once you get one, hang on for dear life. They said, Berry Plastics, if the phone rings and it's them right now and they say that one of these chillers has gone down, I'm going to tell you guys, adios, got to go. It's got to be dealt with right this second. And so those customers, that's how we're trying to establish it, is that customer service, quality. But the competitors, one thing about the larger competitors, we're kind of in a market down here that doesn't get a lot of attention from the big boys. So that is kind of a benefit of being in Western Kentucky, Southern Indiana. Johnson is basically abandoning this market because they don't see it as a financial player. So.
You said that you first started residential, that's Highland years ago, but then you said you made the change over to commercial and you never looked back. What was that moment that made that change happen, and how did you break into that market? Because that market's difficult to break into.
We could not service. We started getting, and Berry's the biggest one, but we have several others. We have Davis County, Fiscal Florida, places like this. Those customers got to a critical point where we were having trouble responding to their need and meeting their needs because of Johnny Homeowner's 3-ton package unit that I had 2 crews tied up on one homeowner, another crew on another homeowner. And when you started looking at it from this perspective, a business owner, it didn't make sense financially to keep, we were tripping over dollars or tripping over dimes, the old saying there. And so it got to that point where we said, we can't keep servicing the homeowners and still doing it at the beginning. We made the decision last year that at the beginning of 2014, we're going to draw a line in the sand and say we're done. We're not taking on any new residential customers. We're going to take care of the ones that we have warranty obligations, responsibilities with, or some type of long-term relationship that may help the other side of the house. But for the most part, we're steering clear of it, and that's what we've done. And it's worked out because now we're able to mine and dig out opportunities with these other customers that we weren't getting before because we didn't have the time to really invest in them like they deserved. So that's, and something else that she came and saw me 2 years ago or something like that.
When you first started, I first started.
Yeah, and that goes back to this right here. My website, it looks like I do it myself. And it looks like I do it myself. But, that's one of those things that you can only bite off what you can chew. When she came to see me, I would have loved to engage her services. And then I went and pulled out my checkbook and said, well, we're not going to do that right now. And so, that's the type of thing that business is evolving, and now we're starting to have the capital and the funds to be able to invest in those type of things. And that's how our business is going to grow and develop. Now we need to get a better website, start to look a little more polished about what we're doing. That's going to help us get to the next step with some of these customers, because that's what my customers, when I tell them engineers and facility directors and things like that, when I tell them to check us out, that's where they're probably going to go. They're going to go Google us is what they're going to do. They're not going to be impressed with our Facebook post latest status. It's more the meat and potatoes of the technology and experience of what we bring to bear there. So I've got to figure out next how to market that in a way that I can afford to, because I can't afford to have a team of account managers running around the countryside in polos and khakis and nice trucks knocking on doors and making those connections. We got to find more creative solutions to get those customers.
David, how can this group, 1 Million Cups, assist you? I think we probably need to be asking that of every person who takes their time to come and present.
I think a big thing about this, like I said earlier, a big thing about the group is it's good for us to talk about what we do real quick so that people are aware of what businesses exist. I mean, how many people knew that a business like ours existed in Madisonville? I know you did.
I'm sitting here watching your diagram, but you've got a variable volume there. Running between about 2,000 gallons a minute up to about 3,500 gallons a minute. I was watching chiller cycle and going, yeah, I know that your business exists.
Yeah, he's on the same page with me, but not a lot of people otherwise would. Something we do is, I think this is something I see in other towns. I've talked with people like Lee and stuff about it before. You go to Paducah, trying to break into business in Paducah, I don't know what your experience was ever, it's difficult because they have a very closed business community. I mean, it's almost like, I call it Paducah Mafia down there. You cannot get in down there. Owensboro is very tough to get into, but they have a very tight-knit business community. And Hopkins County doesn't have that. And I think us learning about each other's businesses, who we are, and then, hey, I'm going to support that business. I'm going to call on her or him or whoever it is to do business with. Like we decided to go with Berry and Pekin because it's supporting a local business. We could do a much better job of supporting Hopkins County local businesses, and hopefully that'll filter up to even the larger, the Trovers, the school systems, the GEs, the organizations. They'll start using maybe some of the local businesses. But we don't have that same business culture and mentality of take care of each other that, in my experience in Hopkins County, that some of the other towns around us do. So I think this group can start to cultivate and do that. And support each other would be a really big benefit, and plus to come out of this group, because we got a lot of good people here. I think a lot of us, we just don't know what we got to offer, and so we need to learn that.
David, I think you've only been in it 3 years, and that's great. You've done well for 3 years, but what it's going to take you is time to get where you want to be, because it's a small community, and I guess what I've learned, I've been in well, more than 3 years. I'm out of it now. But what I found, that you treat people fairly, you do good work, your business will take care of itself.
And that's the type of, another thing that I think we could offer each other, some mentorship is a big thing, because starting off, you know, I thought I was smart and knew everything I needed to know, winds up, that's the type of information that's invaluable, and having somebody, and then being willing to listen to it. Because I did get some advice that I didn't necessarily listen to. Now, a little wiser, and I listen to a lot of that advice, and that's something we could do for each other also, because there's all different, you know, what do you say, 22 years, 20 years, and, you know, people of all different levels, from brand new to 20, 30 years of being an entrepreneur and a business owner. Man, that's a great knowledge base to share with each other, even if it's just off the tough stuff. Because that's what I'm finding out. It's not gonna happen overnight. You gotta be willing to stick with it.
Take care of your problems.
Yeah, because
Never throw up your hands and walk away from it.
yeah, if you don't take care of the problem, it tends to grow and grow and fester. So that's the lesson we've learned also.
Well, we want to thank you very
Okay.
much.